Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. Today, I want to talk about differentiation. How are you different from your competitors? And one side of this is, how do you think you're different? And number two, how does somebody see that you're different? Well, why does differentiation matter at all? Why does anybody even care? Well, my belief is, right, that nobody can see that you're better until they do see that you're different. If you're saying exactly the same thing as everybody else and doing the same thing as everybody else, you feel the same, right? You're not different. As an example, I want you to think about this for a minute. If I were to ask you three reasons, what are three differentiators, three reasons I should do business with you over your competitors, what would you say? I'll give you a second. What's one, two, three? Probably come up with them pretty quickly, right? Number one is probably what you say is, well, we got better people. Some version of that. Better people, right? The second is, well, we deliver better service. Okay. Got better people, better service. Sounds good. And we also have better quality, whatever that means, right? Better people, better service, better quality. That's great. Those are great differentiators. All right, now snap your fingers. You all of a sudden work for your biggest competitor. I know, happens. You work there now. And I say, hey, congratulations on the move. Why should I do business with you at that place? And you'd probably come up with some version of better people, better service, better quality. And that's what your competitors are saying anyway. So everybody's saying the same thing. Here's what this really hit home for me. Many, many years ago, I worked for a real estate developer, and we were deciding to get into the property management business because that was going to be an easy way to make good, consistent income. And the way you start that, of course, back in the old day, was you get a brochure. Well, we were too cheap to hire a marketing company to write a brochure, so we got brochures from a couple of other companies in town who also did property management. And we pretty much just stole their copy. But we put our own pictures on, our own, multicolored, multicultural stock photos on the damn thing, had it printed. And that's why we were different, because we had this handout that said exactly the same thing that our competitors did. Seemed kind of dumb at the time, but I really didn't process that very well. What we needed was a brochure. Might as well just take somebody else's. Well, here's the thing. People are not going to be able to differentiate you by your product. Right? Most of the time, especially because you can't really show it to them, especially if you sell a service, right? They can't differentiate you because of your product. If you sell commercial insurance, you got the same insurance stuff as all your competitors do. You're a lawyer, you got the same law stuff as everybody else. You sell machines. Well, there may be some subtle differences, but people don't know the damn difference, right? How about if you sell exactly the same thing, right? Same brand, same everything. How do you differentiate yourself? Why does it matter? Nobody can see that you're better till they see that you're different. And if you can't differentiate yourself with your product, how do you differentiate yourself? Well, I would tell you differentiate yourself by the way you are in the way you deal with, the way you handle, the way you make your prospect feel when you're working with them. So let's think about typical salesperson. Comes in hot, right? Very kind, very nice, Slavish, right? They're, nice. Anything I can do, blah, 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 jump over themselves. Number one, right? Number two, they got the best this, the best that, the best this, the best that. That's what they're going to say. Oh, yes, if we got something for you, right? And number three, as soon as they hear you share something like a problem, they're going to jump into how they're going to solve it, right? This is how it works. And then at the end, they're going to say, don't you want to buy? Isn't this what you want to do? Don't you want to do this? This is great. Sign now. Now, I exaggerate a bit, but imagine instead, if instead of falling all over yourself to do business with somebody, how about if instead you were kind of skeptical that somebody really needed your help? You had absolutely no doubt in your mind that you could help them. but you weren't sure they were ready for you, right? And so you'd ask questions like, man, I'm glad you came in today. I'm glad you called. Thanks for taking my call, saying you want to talk to me, but I'm kind of curious. I know how busy you are. What made you want to talk to a guy like me? What were you hoping I could do? Right? Slow down. Be the person who is trying to understand your prospect. Yes, educating does need to happen in a sales call, but it is you that needs to be educated. You, the salesperson, not the prospect. Not yet. Certainly not yet. We need to educate ourselves on what's the real situation going on here. Why are they here? What are their opinions about their current situation? Right? Another thing that makes us different is that we don't cede all the power over to our prospects. Once again, I stick with the idea that they don't know how to buy what we have. They may have bought it a bunch of times before, but they bought it from crappy salespeople. If we leave it up to their ideas of how to do this, they're either going to do it wrong or they're going to spend a lot of their time. They're going to waste a bunch of their time. How about that? So I want us to slow down and say, let's do this. What were you hoping we could talk about today to make it a good use of your time? What were you hoping what did you need to learn today about what we're talking about? Here's what I need to learn about you. And if I get the feeling that I can't help you, are you okay if I'm just straight with you and tell you so? See, I can't tell you how important it is to get permission to tell somebody you may not be the right fit. Now, here's the deal. You may say, oh yeah, that's a sweet move. You got to act like you're going to walk away because then they're going to come to you. You're way overthinking this. It's not that. This is not some move. This is an absolute belief that you really may not be the right fit. If somebody's just over here looking for pricing, or it's not really time to buy, or they don't really need what you have, or they're not ready for what you have, we got to be quick to say, hey man, don't waste your time. This is not the right thing for you. Or I get the feeling it's not the right time for you to do this. Just because the prospect wants something doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get it from you. And I don't mean that from some, asshole perspective. It's just that, hey man, we got a business too. What we're going to do, right, is we're going to discover, is there a problem? Is there any problem? What is the problem they're trying to solve? And it may not just be, the problem's got to be more than, well, we need a new one of those. The problem needs to be, well, why wouldn't you just do it like you did it last time? You bought from somebody else last time. Why would you not just buy from them this time? Right? Why not? And see if they can identify any kind of a problem that they're dealing with, something that would make them want to do something different. Remember, it's always easier to keep doing what you've always done. It's always easier not to have to make change. Change is great as long as it doesn't involve you. So we've got to figure out, I think I've talked about this some lately, is number one, are they committed to do something different or differently than they've always done? In every situation where they're talking to several different people, one person's the favorite, everybody else is the fool. And if you're not sure you're the favorite, you're not. Here's what the favorite gets that you don't. The prospect is telling the favorite about the other people. The prospect knows all about what you have, and you're on the inside loop. You know what's going on. They keep you posted on it. The other people, they're on the outside. Those are the fools who think they still have a chance. So we got to slow down, identify what's the problem? What would make them want to change? The incumbent, for lack of a better thing, is usually the favorite. Unless they've truly screwed up, the incumbent is going to be the favorite, right? Unless there's been a change of decision making or the incumbent's really screwed up, they're the favorite. So you need to understand really strongly. They need to tell you why they do the same thing again. So you got that problem. Then you need to identify what are the consequences of those problems, right? The guy isn't calling us back. It takes a while to communicate with us. Okay, well, that's a problem. What are the consequences of that? Well, we have to make decisions quickly, and we've had to pass on some projects because these people haven't called us back in time. Okay, well, that's fine. That's a consequence. That's better, right? But now we have to find out the personal impacts of the consequences. So the personal impacts might be, we had to miss some projects. It's cost us a couple $100,000 in profit because we couldn't do those things. My boss is on my ass about that because we've got this huge goal we've got to hit so we can sell to private equity or we can keep our private equity masters happy, right? And if I don't fix that, I could lose my job. That's the part that matters. So what's your prospect's opinions about their current situation? It's not just the problem itself. Everybody's got problems. I got 1 million. I probably got 2 million, maybe 3 million. But I only have so many that I can commit to fix at any one time. Are you slowing down enough after you figure out that there's a personal impact to that problem to figure out what their budget is? What are they ready, willing, and able to spend to make that personal impact go away? I don't give a damn if it's Microsoft or Tesla or the federal government, right? They have trillions of dollars. However, are they ready, willing, and able to spend it? This is where people screw up. Oh, they're a giant company. They can spend the money, but is it a priority for them? Priority for ready, willing, and able to make the decision to spend the money. And then the last part that we're going slow with, right, is how you're going to make a decision. When were you hoping to make a decision? Why then? Who else besides you needs to be a part of that? What do you need to see or hear from us to be able to make that decision? Who else are you talking to? How are you going to pick? All these questions we need to know the answer to before we give away our information. By the way, all your competitors have just vomited their information, handed it over early on without the prospect feeling truly understood. The way we're going to differentiate ourselves is truly understanding the prospect, right? By pushing back a little bit, slowing us down, slowing them down, so they can see that, wow, this feels different. Why are these people not jumping all over me? They're actually questioning whether or not I need this, right? Which shows respect for your prospect. How many salespeople show respect for the prospect, not just trying to kiss their ass? How are you really differentiating yourself? And don't just say, well, it's me, you get me, I'm different. Yeah, bullshit. You're different just like everybody else is different. It's Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Want to learn more? Get my book, Some Will, Some Won't, So What, Who's Next? It's on Amazon. Or hell, call me. I'll send you a signed copy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.